Welcome back. As part of Women's Day coverage, we shine a spotlight on women in aviation and joined now by Kgopotso Ndlovu, who is an air traffic control officer at Lanseria International Airport, to tell us a bit more about her journey as well. Kgopotso, so good to have you with us this evening. Maybe tell us a bit more about where it all started. What inspired you to especially choose a career in air traffic control?
Thank you so much, Nhlanhla, for having me. First of all, I grew up in a very small town in Middelburg, which is in the province of Mpumalanga. So I didn't know much about aviation. After matric, I, of course, came to Joburg to pursue the city life, to see the glitz and glams of what the world has to offer. I then got introduced to aviation by my brothers, who were actually at the time working for the same company that I work for. And I figured that actually it's something that I can also do. And I gained a great curiosity in it. And that's the main inspiration behind me joining the aviation industry.
But many argue that it's still a very male-dominated industry. Didn't you find this daunting in any way?
A little bit, yes, but I must admit that in our generation now, we are actually shifting the needle a bit in terms of it being a male-dominated space. I take, for instance, the station that I work at right now, Lanseria. The majority actually is female as opposed to male. So it's no longer as male-dominated as it used to be, because the women are speaking and the women are leading as well.
But take us through a day in the life of your job, especially in the control tower. What typically happens there, for those who don't know?
Outside of the stress and the drama. A typical day looks like just making sure that aircrafts land and take off safely, that they are separated from each other in the sky and also separated from each other and even other vehicles on the ground. That's really what a typical day looks like. It's centered around safety, it's measured around safety, and all we do and all we think of is the safety of all passengers that are traveling in the air.
Seemingly you appear as a person who's very calm under pressure to me, especially during this conversation. Maybe give us some insight into your thinking. Can you share a moment where you were under extreme pressure and how you managed to keep calm and keep things smooth?
To be honest with you, it's always stressful. There is always pressure, because you have to understand that you're dealing with people's lives. And in dealing with people's lives, there can never be a time where you can be solely calm or nonchalant. But once you understand what you're supposed to do, put in the rules into place, then that's what brings on the calmness, and that's what brings on the smoother operations. I mean, just like how we know how different cars operate, different aircrafts also operate at different speeds. So once you take away the people that are in the aircraft and you think about the aircraft's performances on its own, then that's what makes it a bit easier and less stressful. But the pressure never really goes away.
Right. Very interesting for me is that the Minister of Transport recently praised South African controllers for their resilience and positive attitude as well. How do you personally then keep that optimism and focus even on tough days on the job?
Through teamwork. Honestly, I think all of us can know that once you're in a space where you're working with other people, your colleagues matter. So through teamwork, that's really how we keep a positive energy, because positive energy bounces off of each other. So in a space where we're all working together for one common goal and remembering each and every one of our whys and why we're there, and truly and honestly, the passion for aviation. There's a passion for the job. So with the passion for the job, even on the tough days, you always remember why you're doing what you're doing.
Kgopotso, I'm sure you'd agree with me that times are changing and technology is transforming your field with tools like AI and remote towers as well. How has this changed the way that you work? And do you see it as more of a help or a challenge here, technology?
Technology is definitely a help. It's made our job much easier. But as we know, with the technology and the AI improvements that we have to this day, you still need human interaction and human interface. So it hasn't completely cleared out the human factors of it all. However, it has helped a great deal. But of course, in the South Africa that we live in, sometimes we have our load shedding and load reduction. So then the technology falls away, because technology does need electricity after all. But overall, it has been a great help.
Going back to an issue that we discussed around representation, You have built a career in an industry where women are still in the minority here. What has been your biggest challenge and your proudest breakthrough as a woman in aviation?
I don't particularly have a biggest challenge, but one of my proudest breakthroughs was the first time I actually got into ATNS. I was managed by one of the first black women that were air traffic controllers in the country. So that alone showed representation and showed that it was actually quite possible. Moving on from that, having worked now at Lanseria, where most of the air traffic controllers are female, also shows that there really has been a shift in the demographic of what we see or what we know in the aviation industry. And topping it all off has been my own achievements. I mean, making it top of my class 2 times in a row in a short space of time. That also goes to show that as much as we may think that aviation is male dominated, but women are actually doing the work and are putting in the work and also deserve the shine as well.
You spoke about the ATNS CEO. I mean, the CEO spoke about teamwork also being at the heart of air traffic safety. Who are the unsung heroes behind scenes that you rely on daily here on the job?
Oh, if I start mentioning names, we'll be here all night. But overall, the unsung heroes are really the people sitting in the tower. This goes from the ATCs, the ATSOs, which are our assistants. I mean, even our coffee and tea ladies are also our unsung heroes. The people that sit in the radar halls that help our managers as well. And even the other support departments that we have, like our engineering teams and even our legal teams, our marketing teams, those are really the unsung heroes that do make sure that the air traffic controller sits and works and is actually able to sit and work.
Let us reflect on a very dark time for the aviation industry, and that's the COVID-19 period. It did bring massive disruption to air travel. How did that period test your skills and resilience, both professionally and personally as well?
Sure, that was a tough time. I mean, the world came to a complete stop. But in the world coming to a complete stop, for me professionally, it just meant that I needed to cement myself in ATNS, because we also did go through a Section 189 period where the company wasn't making enough money to keep staff. But in order to maintain professionality and also a level head, I needed to make sure that I cemented myself as an asset rather to the company. And even in our career progression, I mean, that took a halt for a bit because there was no movement. But post-COVID, things have been getting better.
For young women listening or watching this program who dream of working in aviation, whether in the skies or even in the tower, let's give advice to them now. What advice would you give to them about breaking into this industry?
The biggest advice that I always give to anyone is honestly to stay in school. Young women out there, stay in school, do your best, work really hard, because that is the only way you get yourself into a position where you are able to even think about going into a space such as aviation, you know. I think education is one of the things that we downplay, although we do speak about it a lot, but we also downplay in some of the instances of how to make a successful career and how to make it in life. But the one advice that I'd give is stay in school and work hard.
And finally, in Women's Month, or during this Women's Month, what message would you like to send to South Africans, especially about the role that women play and should play in keeping our skies safe, but also our communities safe as well?
The one thing that I definitely say is that women need to be heard, because women are nurturers by nature and women are also leaders by nature. So the more we let women lead, the more we let women speak, and the more we listen to women, the safer our communities get. And of course, keep doing what we're currently doing at ATNS, where, as I was saying earlier, that the needle has definitely shifted. It's no longer as male-dominated as it was. So let's continue with that. Let's bring more women in. Let's reel more women in. And let's teach and equip more women to know and to also trust in themselves as leaders and as powerful beings.
Kgopotso, thank you so much for sharing your very inspiring story with us this evening.